Hello and welcome to another Smurp video, and this is probably something completely different to what I usually do. I'm gonna share my masterpiece collection with you, so I'm not gonna spend ages on each figure. I'm just gonna give you a quick outline, show you accessories, show you masterpiece coins, and you can see them. You can perhaps take a view if there's something that you want to get. In a minute I will put up the plan for this video because it's probably the most adventurous one that I'm doing. It'll probably be the most longest one, but I won't try and make it too painful. I'm probably going to be like Marmite. You're either going to like it or you're going to hate it, or you're just going to think, what the hell is this guy talking about? He knows nothing about Transformers. So thank you, and here's what's coming up. Next up is MP30 Ratchet. And Ratchet for me this year, he was the last Autobot to come out before we get Inferno, is one of my favourites. I love the hands, I love the weapons. I would have done the G1 accurate stickers, but I'm all thumbs and it would end up being a disaster. So hopefully I find somebody who can do that for me, and then he'll look a bit more G1. I mean, look at that head sculpt. It's just absolute perfection. So I'm really happy with this figure. Even with the skirt, as everyone called it, and the back butt, or tire butt, he looks absolutely brilliant. For me, these guns represent him in the G1 movie, where he's pretty much shooting until he gets, well, dead. So getting the G1 Ratchet is brilliant, and he looks perfect. His size is amazing, and he comes with a whole load of accessories. So many accessories that I'll show you in the accessory section. I'm not going to spend ages. There's reviews on this guy that goes into great detail of transforming him, etc. Lucky for you, it'll probably take me about an hour to transform him. Only kidding. It's more like 45 minutes. So I won't be showing you stuff like that, but the detail, the size, the color's perfect. Just for me, this is what a masterpiece should be. And I'm impressed with what we've had this year. Some people said that the paint rubbed off. I've been lucky, or I've just not noticed that my paint's come off. So I'm not going to spend ages looking at it. So there's Ratchet for you. We'll move on to the next figure. Here we go, here's Ratchet. I keep feeling like I did something wrong with the transformation because little bits keep popping out. It doesn't seem to stay together, so I may have a play of that. Little homage to the face, which I'm sure you've heard before. Very nice Autobot sign, and I think he's a really nice little ambulance. If you want to play races, there we go. Sorry. Kidding me, can't help it. I see a G1 car and I want to roll it automatically. But yeah, Ratchet, nice looking pet. Fits really well. To get all the inside this, it's a masterpiece in itself. Not much kibble underneath, so I think they've done really well with how they've done this. Here we have Blue Streak, and when it comes to G1 characters and this TV show, he was probably in half a dozen scenes, and I know why they put him in there. He was a Diaclone, and he went with Prowl and Silver Streak, and basically there was a whole line for them, which is what Transformers spun off from. So he was in there to sell toys basically, and he didn't do much, and he was in like I said, half a dozen scenes. Tell me if I'm wrong, or if you disagree with that. Why did I buy this mold and not the G1, I guess, accurate view? I actually like this mold. For me, the blue sits really nicely, and when we transform him in car mode, I'll show you, he just looks really nice, and that's why I decided to buy him. Regardless of whether I guess I'm a fan of the character. I think he's in the IDW comics, but I once again, I don't really remember him, or he's just a character that I don't think very much of, to be honest with you. But you can see he's got, you know, that nice head sculpt. He came with these rockets, which was really cool, instead of trying to buy the Amazon exclusives. And you know, the mold is the same as the Pro mold. I don't actually have a Pro at the moment. I'm hoping to get one in the future. And Smokescreen, because you know, those two were in the show a lot more, and Prowl is probably a more iconic character than Blue Streak. But yeah, I really like this figure. I like the head sculpt, I like the rockets. Probably sometimes just put the car bits back, but then it kind of, it sits quite nicely, and then you just have some kind of back kibble. You know, you got half a car basically. But yeah, tell me your thoughts on him, what you think about this character, this mold. I think he's nice. This is why I loved the Blue Streak Blue mode. The vehicle just looks absolutely stunning, absolutely stunning. And like the Prowl and the previous Silver Streak, kibble fits nicely inside. It all looks really nice. Nice Autobot Sigma there. Perfect. Rolls quite nice. A little race. Perfection. Up we have MP28 Hot Rod, and you know, I think this is one of the characters or figures that that kind of, you know, fans either nitpicked a lot. They nitpicked this whole back section. You know, yes, you've got some back kibble, but I guess you've got to, you know, transform him somehow. They nitpicked this when it first came out. There was like this whole section here. His legs are too skinny, whatever. I like him. I think he's really nice. I was always a fan of Hot Rod. Then obviously he changed to Rodimus, and season 3 and 4, it's just, you know, you just waited for Return of Optimus Prime. It was basically one of those seasons. But yeah, this figure's really nice. He comes with a lot of accessories, which I'll get to in the accessories section. You know, all the things that you kind of wanted from the movie, you kind of get in it with this figure. I really like this chest piece here. I like these here. I think you probably want to be careful. Apparently these scrape, etc. I'm not going to look too closely in case mine has, and I get all upset by it. As you do when you spend, you know, you spend 50 quid on a masterpiece, you want perfection, really. And you know, I wish this was a bit bigger, but then I guess when you get them in car mode, it fits nicely with that car mode. Just as a nice little add, you get the kind of visor where he can zoom in on shuttles, etc. And you know the rest. If you've, I'm sure you've watched the movie a million times, otherwise you wouldn't be collecting Transformers masterpieces. But yeah, I think it's nice. You probably want to be careful when you're taking out. I think it's, if you're not gentle with it, because it gets tucked quite in, you could probably snap it, etc. But yeah, I'm really happy with this Hot Rod. I don't think, however, as much as I like the Rodimus and that tank, I think it's had so many problems, or I've heard of so many problems, I don't think I would invest in it. Maybe we'll get lucky and we get a reissue with, you know, that sort of thing fixed, who knows. And that's Hot Rod for you. Hot Rod. Now this was my favorite as a kid. This mode was, oh, you know, I loved the toy. I could play with it for hours. And you know, this just fits really nicely. There's the underneath stuff, pretty much kind of what you expected from it. So the only thing that I got a bit irritated was with these. You have to be very careful. I think when you're transforming it back into car mode, you could potentially have an accident, so just be careful. And you know, you still got the bonnet that lifts up. Oh, sorry, hands in the way, there you go. You can still keep the matrix in there. I think it fits really well. I guess the only thing that I could perhaps wanted is if this lifted up, you could have put the little Daniel in there. That I think would have been a nice kind of finishing touch it to the figure. But yeah, for me, you know, you got to be careful because I don't think it rolls perfectly, or you've got to make sure that you get it all tightly in there to make sure it rolls quite smoothly. But other than that, really good figure. Up we have MP25 Tracks, And this figure was one that I was very excited about last year. You know, just the fact that you could get free modes. And, you know, a lot of people, you know, they've said about the backpack, etc. But I think it's actually a very clever transform. And, you know, he transforms really nicely. He has a really nice head sculpt. He has the toy accurate rockets. Okay, they're not huge, but then you've got to fit them into his body, etc. He come with some accessories from the episodes that he mainly starred in with Raoul, and obviously he had blaster on his seat, etc. And, you know, I'll show them off in the accessory section. And, you know, I think you get some nice poses with him. And he comes with this awesome stand. And here is that awesome stand. I don't think I recall him ever kind of flying in robot mode, but he's got the capability, surely. You know, he can fly as a flying car. He's got these wings. So, you know, I like to think that he can fly. But obviously the stand is mainly for his car fly mode, which I thought was quite cool. I watched that in Megatron's Master Plan, and he just transformed and went flying off as a car. And, you know, it was such a simple thing and a simple thought that, you know, that made Tracks pretty darn cool in my books. So yeah, I'm very happy with this. I think you can get some really nice poses. He's got a nice chest piece there. He's got an awesome head sculpt. And, you know, for me, I like him as a masterpiece. Obviously, some people may not agree with that watching this, but, you know, I think he's worth the price. And, you know, there's KOs you can get now. If you want to just have a look and get a cheap version, okay, it's not going to be as good as this. The heads are probably smaller, etc., but they're quite close. They're not that far off. I had a KO Prowl for a very long time, and he sat nicely in there. You know, so I think these KOs are quite good. But sometimes you get lucky, sometimes you don't. But yeah, there's MP Tracks. Thank you. And here we have Tracks in his aerial car mode. And for me, this was the best bit about Tracks. You could transform him into this. And, you know, you can have him in poses. If you maybe later on when I get some of my Decepticons transformed, I'll perhaps do a quick pose with him chasing them or something like that. But yeah, absolutely clever. Works perfectly. This is what you wanted from a Tracks figure. Okay, maybe his robot mode has a few flaws, but this just kills it, being able to do this. Transform and roll out. And there you have it. Tracks back in his normal car mode. And, you know, I think the car mode is probably the best thing about this figure. I think it works the best. It's like they've concentrated on making the car mode the flight mode, that in some way perhaps the robot mode suffered. But I think he was always this kind of shape in the G1 cartoon, so I think they've got it right, but just some of the things perhaps aren't as solid as perhaps you want. But for me, car mode, figure mode, Tracks is amazing. Let me know what you think of Tracks in the comments below. If he's one of the masterpieces you actually enjoy having. So here we have Grimlock, MP8, and I was quite impressed with this figure. This was the only Grimlock that I wanted at the time. I was looking at like the Fall of Cybertron. If you look there, lights up. I'm sure you've seen all that. And the same if you put the gun in there, it is exactly the same. It's quite nice. The only thing that I worry about is these bits at the, these bits down here don't really clip in anywhere, so sometimes they just fall loose. But in terms of Grimlock, he's pretty beautiful. He fits all nicely. You get, you know, all the kibble goes exactly where you want it to go. Also, a cool feature about this figure is you can change the eyes from blue to red. I think red was toy accurate. Oh goodness sake, sorry, you're gonna get irritated by my pronunciations by the end of this video. But yeah, I like him. He's nice. He's a nice size. You could probably say he could have been bigger, but for me he works. I think he's a really good figure. And here we have Grimlock, and he was my first masterpiece that I actually got. I got the Hasbro version. I know there was a Dakara one that came with some really nice accessories. But for me, you know, just getting Grimlock like this, his transformation is absolutely intelligent. What I like is you can turn the eyes. Sorry if this is... Sorry about that. Always takes me longer to transform. So here we go, Grimlock in his masterpiece form. And you know, for me, pretty much this is all I wanted. Grimlock looking like this in dino form. And maybe if we're lucky, we get a wheelie at some point. You know, even this is perfect. It splits really nicely. Just his whole body, his size. There is a KO version, an oversized KO version of this, which people say it fits a bit better because Grimlock was bigger than Optimus Prime. But for me, I'm not too fussed. I like this alt mode. I like him in Dinobot mode. And if you want to try and get other Dinobots, Fans Toys, I think it's Fan Toys, they're a third party company and they do really nice Dinobots. I haven't actually got any, but I've looked at reviews and they are absolutely perfect. And here we have MP27. Pretty much most fans, oh, it's not a good start. When they knew this feather was coming out, we knew Ratchet was going to follow. Sorry, a bit of dust on mine. Perhaps should have dusted that beforehand. And you know, he is a beautiful figure. You know, there are some things that annoy fans, like the sides and the butt wheels and the skirt, but I'm not overly fussed by that stuff. This is the Ironhide we wanted. I had the Ironhide, the G1 toy as a kid, and it looked nothing like the character. And you know, that was cool enough for me at the time when you don't know any better. But this Ironhide, you know, he's perfect. He's got really nice paint. The red sits really well. The head, he's got a couple of head sculpts. I think this is one they refer to where he's going, no, such heroic nonsense. And then bam, he's gone, to replace him with new Transformer toys such as Optimus Prime and all those that follows. They could have just made the G1 version cartoon world bigger, to be honest with you. But yeah, I like him. Tell me what you think. Have you got Ironhide? Is he one of your favourite characters, or do you just not like this mold? A lot of people, I don't think, bought it because they didn't like it. I was always happy with him. Thank you for looking. Here we have Ironhide in his van mode, and once again, like Ratchet, you got this little face on there. The logo's really nice at the front. I found with this one, maybe it's where I transformed him, but he seemed to stick together. Maybe I just need to play with Ratchet later on. And there you can see little gaps there from Ratchet. So, you know, it's not perfect, but it's come together a lot better than when I did the Ratchet transformation. I like the Ironhide van, the camper van. I think it's really nice. So let me know what you think of the van, the vehicle modes. I've got to say, I probably don't put him in this mode very often. I think I've transformed him twice out of the whole time that I've... But yeah, he's really nice. I'm really happy with Ironhide's alt mode. Now, when I talk Transformer masterpieces, there is none more worthy than Ultra Magnus. To be honest with you, I wasn't too bothered about him in the movie. I'm not usually a fan of great bigger Transformers. I always like the small ones to play with. But you know, this was one that I had. And in the movie, I was probably paying more attention to Hot Rod and Cup's mission than what Ultra Magnus was doing. So for me, you know, to get this figure, I got the reissue earlier this year. He is absolutely stunning. I know that there's a couple of upgrades. You can get upgrades on this and it's bigger or something. And you can get an upgrade to the gun, as some people think it's a bit puny. But you know, for me, I like this figure. He's just absolutely perfect. The paint's perfect. He's exactly what you want, and his Transformers is amazing. And you know, if you can get past a little butt plug there that hangs down, you know, you're going to be very happy with this figure. You know, they could have transformed that, but it's not the end of the world. You know, it's a fantastic change. The fact that they've got this all incorporated in one mode, you don't have to separate it, etc. And even when you change it, you can actually take the cab off. I will show you that later when we get to transformations. So for me, Ultra Magnus, yes, he is perfect. And you know, I would get this figure over Ramjet and Thruster that are coming out that are going for like 160 or so for me, MP22 Ultra Magnus all the way, definitely worth it. First of all, here we have Ultra Magnus's cab mode, and you know, it's quite cool that this part transforms inside of him and becomes part of the body, and that's probably the most bit. I didn't even think that this came off, so when it came off after I transformed him the first time, I was really surprised because I didn't actually see it in any of the videos. So I was really impressed with this. So for me, Ultra Magnus is the perfect masterpiece. He's perfect in robot mode, and he's perfect in vehicle mode. And you can get your vehicles in just like this. I probably wouldn't recommend the one on the top if you're gonna move him. Yeah, you may want to be careful you're doing that, because the top's probably not the most secure bit, and you could probably get two size of these on the ground floor. Maybe. I haven't actually re-experimented. Maybe I'll have a look before we finish the video. But yeah, Ultra Magnus Alt mode is one of my favorites, absolute favorites. And here we have MP10 Optimus Prime, and for me, he was the one that I wanted to get the most. I was collecting Combiner Wars, but this was the only Optimus Prime that I wanted. You know, I got the reissue last year. I was lucky. I got him for a decent price. I was really happy, and he is perfect. The only thing that probably annoys me is the whole gun foldy up bit. It just irritates me for some reason. So, but you know, you can nicely put that in the back here, and you know, this is just pure Optimus Prime. There is a KO version of him, MPP10, and he's oversized, but you know, I like this size. I think it fits well with my other collections, and the transformation is really clever. It's really good. The only thing that probably annoys me is perhaps this matrix is just a tiny bit small. It doesn't really fit into hands nice and neat if you want to do that great big pose where he's holding it above his head or in front of him. So, but for me, Optimus Prime, it's a no-brainer. He's a masterpiece. He's perfect. This Takara version. Some people like the American version, the Hasbro version, where the blue eyes are a bit bluer, they're a bit more clearer. But you know, for me, Optimus Prime MP10, he's just perfect. He's an awesome figure. He sits nicely in the collection, and you know, he goes well leading his team. And that's it for the Autobot modes. So next up we have accessories, and then we'll go into their car modes. So here we have Optimus Prime, and he looks amazing. He is by far my favorite alt mode, pretty much my favorite MP. You know, you've probably seen videos of him being transformed, etc. He's perfect in every way. Obviously, be careful when you're transforming him. There are some bits you need to perhaps watch, like little things like this. The only thing that's annoying about mine is that doesn't sit flush. So if anyone knows of any tips, please message me. It'd be most appreciated. And here we have his awesome truck. That's just, you know, it's just those finishing touches. You know, everyone who's from the 80s pretty much remembers like this. This is always really nice. There's some great detail on it. I'm sure there's plenty of videos showing this. I'm not going to spend ages, you know. And the fact you get Roller, and Roller can hold the trailer, it's just phenomenal in thought and time. That gives us this perfect figure that pretty much every Transformer fan wants. So there's Optimus Prime's alt mode.